So let's discuss this question. Finding a missing number. We have been given number 1 to n and there is one number missing. We have to find this number. Now the very first step in solving a question is to understand the question, to ask questions related to the question, to clarify the question, to have a better understanding of it. Ask questions about the input, ask questions about the output, ask questions about the question itself and get more details on the question. So we have to find this number. The first question we can ask, are these numbers continuous from 1 to n? Yes, the numbers are continuous from 1 to n. How many numbers are missing? One number is missing. The input is given in which format? The input is given in format of an array. Output is required as what? In output we require the missing number. So now we have a clear understanding of question that all the numbers are there and they are starting from 1. One number is missing and they go on till n, and we are given input in the form of an array and we need to give output in the form of the missing number. You can ask more question for clarification if you want. The more question you ask, the better information you will get and the better impression you will have on the interviewer. So now we have clarified our question. Step number 2, give a brute force solution. What is the brute force solution? Brute force solution or the simple solution or the naive solution is the simplest solution that comes to our mind. When we are solving a question, no need to solve it with the most optimal solution. In fact, it is expected that you will come up with a brute force solution first, a less optimal solution, and then optimize from there. So what will be the first solution? The first solution is we know that the number from 1 to n. So we first check whether 1 is present in this or not. Then we check for 2. Then we check for 3. Then we check for 4. And the number which is not present, we will get to know and we will output it. And the complexity of this will be O of n square. Why O of n square? Because we will be taking 1. Now these numbers are not arranged in a sequence. They are random. You can ask this also, whether these numbers are arranged in sequence or they are random. All the numbers are present, only one is missing, that is in sequence. But these numbers are not present in an order. They are randomly present. So this is also another important information which you can ask, and interviewer will tell you. So we check for 1 whether it is present, we check for 2, we check for 3, we check for 5, but 5 is not present, so we output 5. It will take O n square because every number will be checked against n element. So 1 will be checked for n elements and we have n major operations. Then 2 will be checked against n elements and we will have n major operations. Then 3 will be checked against n elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, n. So this will go on till n. So we have n times, so n squared. So complexity of this solution is O of n squared. This is a simple approach. Now let's optimize this approach. See, we are doing a lot of repetitive work over there. We are checking one number again and again, and even if it is being checked, we are again checking it with again number. So if we can avoid this repetition, then we can improve its complexity. Let's think of a way in which repetition is not there. And we have also not utilized the information that all the numbers are present. Even if random numbers are present over here, then we can find using this method whether a number is present in or not. But these numbers are not any random numbers, though their order is random, but all the numbers are present from 1 to n except 1. If we utilize this information, then we will be able to solve this question optimally. Let's see how we do that. We know if n numbers are present, then the sum of first n number is n plus 1 by 2. We can calculate this and subtract the sum of array elements which we have from the sum of natural number which it should be. So we are subtracting what we have from what it should be, sum of array, and we will get a missing number. Now when you get an approach that how we will solve the question, think about the pros and cons of the approach. What are the positives in it, what are the negatives in it? So the positive part of it is it can be done in O(n) time and O1 space. O(n) time because we will be moving through this array once and it will take n time for that. O1 time because the space is constant, so it will take O(n) time and O1 space. But if this n is very very big, suppose n is 10 to the power 10, then there will be an overflow. If this n is very big, then there will be an integer overflow. This is the cons of the solution. Tell this to the interviewer that this is the cons, and then think about the solution such that we can remove these cons and have a better solution there. Can we do better? That is a question that we always answer in these questions. So let's see, can we do better? Now we know if we take two numbers 3 and 4 and XOR them, we will get a third number. But if we XOR 3 with itself, or if we XOR 4 with itself, if we XOR any number x with itself, then we will get 0. This is the idea that we are going to use in our solution. So now these numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Suppose 5 is missing, and we know that this is the array that we have been given, and these are all the numbers from 1 to n that we should have, and this is the this is the array with the missing number. So if we take XOR of all the numbers in the array, then we will get a result, let's say a. If we take XOR of all these numbers in the sequence, then we will get a XOR b. If we XOR a and b, then we will get a missing number, because this will get XORed out with itself, 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 and all the numbers will get XORed out with themselves. But this 5 will present only once, it will not get XORed out, and a XOR b will give our missing number, which is 5. So this is the most optimal solution to this problem. Now after you thought of the most optimal solution, tell it to your interviewer that this is what you thought of. When the interviewer is satisfied with the solution, then code it onto the paper. After you have coded your solution to the paper, don't hand it over to the interviewer. Run some tests in your mind. Some simple tests of functional inputs. Functional inputs such as 1 to 10, one number missing, and 1 to 10. So this is a functional input. Some corner cases, no number is present. No number is present, or a lot of numbers are present. 10 to the power 6 numbers are present. Then what will be the output? So check for 2 or 3 functional cases which are normal inputs to this question. The inputs that we normally think of, and then think of some edge cases when no input is present, when there are a lot of number. Then what should be the solution? After you have verified that your code is correct and is running correctly for all these cases, especially the null case, very large number, and this functional inputs, then you hand over a solution to the interviewer. And since we are just practicing right now, after you have verified with the test cases that the solution is correct, code it onto your computer now. After you have written the solution on your paper, tested it with the test cases in your mind, then code it onto the computer and write test cases over there to see if your solution is correct. I will put the link of the practice question of this question in the description below. You will be able to practice this question over here. But follow this approach, understand the question, come up with a brute force solution, optimize it, write the test code, write the code for the write the code of the solution that you have thought of on paper, test it on paper with the test cases, code it onto your computer, and then move on to next question. And use 2 color pens, one for highlighting your mistake and one for just writing out your answers on the paper. So you later when you revise, you know you committed this mistake in this question, so that you don't repeat it in the actual interview. This should be your approach for solving a question. This is a general approach that I have shown you over here. Follow it for all the questions. And I will link the actual code I will link the solution code for this question in the description below. So thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful and liked it, then hit the like button. If you're new to our channel, then subscribe it. If you know someone who could benefit from our video, then please share a video with that person. So thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.